Good evening, good evening, good evening. I know it's kind of late. I just wanted to pop on for a few minutes. I'm going to be running 3 platforms until I figure out how to do other stuff later, which I'm not going to do tonight. So I'm just going to run these 3 platforms all at once. So even if I'm not looking at you, I really am looking at you. We are here, right? So I'm going to wait about 60 seconds like I always do for people to jump on. So I'll give you about 60 seconds to pop on. I'm only going to be on for probably 10 minutes or less. So I'm not going to be on here a very long time. So if you want to invite a friend, you want to like, share, whatever you want to do, you're only going to have a short period of time to do that. So I'm only going to be on here for about 10 minutes or less. So go ahead and jump on. And while I'm waiting, I generally wait about 45 to 60 seconds. So while I'm doing that, I'm Adrienne Mayfield. I am author of Connecting with the Burning Bush, which is this book. I wrote this book in 2017 to teach you how to use the painful experience in your life to launch your purpose and your destiny. I also wrote this book in 2019 called I'm Tired of This Church Losing Religion to Find God. Teaches you how to have an authentic relationship with God that's not based on rules and regulations, but is based on a relationship with a Father who knows you and loves you, who has a purpose for your future. I also have a podcast which is called Beauty for Ashes. It's available on all podcast platforms. So go on there. There's probably about 40 or 50 episodes on the podcast. So check something out. There'll be something to make you laugh or cry or encourage you or even maybe challenge you. So check it out. Beauty for Ashes is the podcast. And last of all is I publish books for a couple of other authors as well. And one of which is Kevin Strange. This is Breaking Point, which is a revelation of the Father's love, and he also wrote He Chose Me. These are available at kevinxstrange.com, and I published these books for Dr. Ronnie Williams, drronniewilliams.org. And so if you're interested in writing a story, getting your unique story in print, if you have a skill, a talent, something that you want to teach others how to do, reach out to me at adriennemayfield.com, and I will talk to you about getting your story in print. So, do these glasses get on your nerves? These are my new glasses. I'm going to take them off, though, because they might be giving you guys a glare. I really don't need them. So, hello, Kelita. Hello. So, just wanted to jump on and talk to you guys for a couple of minutes. I'm not going to be on here very long, I promise. 10 minutes or less tops. But you know I love stories, so I have to tell you this story about my polling place. So, for those of you who don't know, today was a runoff election here in Georgia. We had Jon Ossoff against David Perdue and Raphael Warnock against Kelly Loeffler, and it has been quite a race. Every day I literally get 8 to 10 mailers telling me to vote for them and why I should vote for them and all this stuff, and they're so targeted. Like, I get a lot about women, a lot about black people, so they were super targeted. So, of course we have early voting, which people are highly encouraged to do that. I got my absentee application, but I never sent it back, so that means I had to go vote in person. So I went about a week ago to vote in person, and the line was too long. Yes, I'm one of those people. I hate long lines. So I said, well, I'm just going to turn around. And I almost had convinced myself, honestly, I'm just going to be honest, that I was just going to sit this one out. So I was like, well, voting, what's the big deal? I can't believe I'm saying that. My mom would cringe. But she's in heaven, thankfully. Well, not thankfully that she's in heaven, but thankfully that she can't hear me saying this. But because she was big about voting and, all of those things, because she was a public official. But anyway, that's another story for another day. So I almost had convinced myself I was just going to sit this one out, because I was like, I hate voting on the day of the election, because there's always a lot of controversy and chaos around that, particularly with things that are going on around these recent elections. And so I almost talked myself out of voting. But then this morning when I woke up, I just felt something was like, you need to go vote. Don't miss this opportunity. This is the runoff election. It's highly contested. You need to go and cast your vote. So I drove to my polling place, right? So I get there. I don't live in a very, right, Kelly? She would be like, Adrienne, you're not going to vote. Like, what you mean you're not going to vote? So I get to my polling place. I live in a suburb in North Atlanta, which is not at all diverse. As a matter of fact, Oprah Winfrey came here in the late 90s, I think, because there was this whole big controversy about race. It's actually a place that was known as a sundown town. And so it's not very diverse at all. So I got out. I saw one other black person. I'm like, okay, this is fine. I mean, I'm used to it because I've been living here for a few years now. So I get out and I join the line. Of course, no one's talking to me. So it's kind of cool outside. So I'm thinking, is this good? Well, it should be okay. So I actually put my hoodie on. So I had on my Georgia Law hoodie and everything. I'm waiting in line. So I walk into the line and I keep going. It's moving kind of fast. I'm timing myself so I can see how long it's going to take. I get up there. The man comes with the sign-in sheet. You know, sign this, get your driver's license ready. I'm like, okay, cool. So I get up to the door. I give the lady my driver's license. And then I go, she says, okay, you can go on inside. So I go inside. The lady takes my driver's license. She prepares to scan it. She looks at the driver's license and then she says, you can't vote here. I'm like, what? Wait, what? I voted here for the president. Why can't I vote here? And she says, well, on the day of the election, you have to go to your actual precinct. You can't go to an early voting location. You have to go to a precinct, your official voting precinct. Like, nobody told me that. Nobody told me that I had to go to a different precinct. But I normally vote early, so it wasn't even an issue. So Jermaine is asking me, why am I not looking into the camera? Well, Jermaine, I already addressed that earlier because I'm running 3 platforms at once. So I'm doing Facebook, I'm doing Instagram, and I'm doing Periscope. But I'll make sure that I look down here throughout the remaining 3 minutes of this so that you don't feel left out, okay? So, anyway, back to the story. So I'm there. I give the lady my driver's license. She scanned it. She's like, you can't vote here. I'm like, I can't vote. What? I can't vote here. Is this a conspiracy? You know, I'm thinking all this crazy stuff. But I didn't say that. You know, I was calm. So I said, well, she said, this isn't your precinct. You got to go down to First Redeemer Church. So that's the first thing. I'm like, First Redeemer Church. So I knew that. Oh, hold on. Let's see. My phone is giving me a message that the battery's about to die. This always happens because I'm trying to keep my iPhone. So give me 5 seconds. Hold on, guys. You're going to love this story. I don't know why. I guess this is going to be on Miracle's Funniest Home Videos, right? Why won't you go in there? Okay, there we go. All right, so y'all said. Okay, so she says, you have to go down to First Redeemer Church. And I said, First Redeemer Church? What? And she said, it's right down the street. I said, yeah, I know where it is, but I don't want to go. I've already waited in line here. I don't want to go and wait in line there. And so she said, well, you're not going to have to wait in line. That's the beautiful thing about it. You came to the wrong precinct. I'm going to give you your paper. You're going to take your ID. When you go down to First Redeemer, you'll go to the front of the line. You don't have to wait in line again. So remember, I told you the history about where I live. You know, it's not extremely diverse here. So I'm looking at her like, so I'm just going to take my driver's license to the front of the line and walk past all of these people that don't look like me? She's like, yeah. Well, I didn't say that part. I just said, well, if somebody pushes me down or like says, what are you doing or where are you going? And she started laughing because she's probably never experienced anything like that. And I said, okay. So I got in the car, called my brother. You think I should vote? He's like, well, you already out here, go vote. So as I'm driving, have my license, I have my little paper. So I get to the new location. Guys, when I got to the new location, I'm talking, these people were like 100 deep in line. All of these people lined around the church. So I'm already thinking, okay, there's got to be some message in this for me. You know, Redeemer, First Redeemer. I've got to go to the church. I was at the wrong precinct. I'm like, dang, I went to the wrong precinct. Why didn't I know that? So I'm thinking, like, I don't want to wait in this line. I see all these people. But so I get out. I take my driver's license. I take the paper. And so I'm like, I'm just going to do what the lady told me. She told me that I don't have to wait. I'm not going to wait. So of course, I'm a little black girl walking into this line. I don't see maybe like one other person that looks like me in this line. And they're looking, so I'm walking, but I just put my head up high and walk like I'm supposed to be doing this. I have a permission. I have someone in authority that told me this. So I'm walking, and I can just feel people staring like, what is she doing? Like, is she really passing to the front of the line? Because, you know, when you were in elementary school and you would do something like that, you could literally get slugged or punched in the throat, right? So I go to the front of the line. The front of the line is actually The line is so long, it's out the door, but inside the corridor of the door, they're also wrapped around there. So I'm like, okay, I passed like 200 people. Do I just go here and wait in the remainder of the line, or do I go to the front of the line like she told me? So I got inside, I'm kind of looking around. The people are still looking like, what is wrong? Like, does she not see the line? Like, what's wrong with her? You know, like you would do when you were in school. If somebody tried to pass you in line, you like, hey, wait a minute. This is the line. So I said, no. She told me I could do it. So I marched my little happy self all the way to the front of the line. I mean, past like 200 people, easily. So I go to the front of the line. The lady standing there, and she says, are you with them? Is it 3? I said, no, I went to the wrong precinct. And she said, oh, which one did you go to? And so I told her which precinct I went to, and she said, go right in. Go right in, guys. No wait. 200 people, bypassed them, went inside, gave the lady my paper, made a little conversation with her about, the voting, how's it going, nobody hardly in there, in and out in literally like 2 minutes tops, well, maybe 3, because I had to put my thing in, it didn't go in there right. And so, again, people in there, the people in the room didn't really know, because once you make it to the front of the line, they assume, hey, you're supposed to be here. But the people outside, I'm still thinking like, I gotta walk back past these people. Is somebody gonna trip me? Is somebody gonna knock me out? Is somebody gonna grab me? Are we gonna go back in time? Like, what is the real deal here? So I got my card, went over, made sure that the number actually went up as I inserted my vote. I want to make sure my vote counts. I went through all this stress, right? Got my little sticker and head out. As I head out, I'm not lying, if looks could kill, the people were literally like, and she really went in there and voted. Like, who is she supposed to be? She went to the front of the line. And so I went back to the car, and this is the message, guys. I'm almost done, 2 minutes. So I went back to the car, and I clearly heard and felt like this is what's happening even in your life and in all of our lives. We think that sometimes I got it wrong. I made a mistake. I didn't do the right thing. I married the wrong person. I got a divorce. I had this baby out of wedlock. Whatever the situation may be. I drove too fast. I got a speed ticket. Whatever you may have made a mistake. I dropped out of high school. I got my GED. Just different things that we go through in life. And you may be thinking, I messed up. Like this is the end. Like I made this mistake. This is the end for me. But what God wanted me to tell you and what he told me today is that the things that you think are your mistakes are actually going to work for your good. Because he says in his word, I cause all things to work together for the good of those who love me. And in Matthew it says, the last shall be first and the first shall be last. Many are called, but the few are chosen. And I experienced that today. I went from just a brief wait in line. I bypassed the entire line and went to the front of the line. Even though people were looking like, what is she doing? I walked to the front of that line and I voted and I left in 5 minutes or less. And so that's the message that God wants to give to you today. No matter what you've done, no matter what mistakes you made, you may think, I messed it up, I'm at the end. God has a way of working all things together for our good. And if you stay faithful and you don't give up on yourself, you'll see that everything will turn around. The last will be first and the first will be last. You'll go from the back of the line to the front of the line, and everybody will be looking at you like, how in the world? How? All they can do, baby, is just say how and watch you go to the front of the line. So that's my little Sunday school message for you guys tonight. I am Adrian Mayfield, and I know y'all were thinking this is going to be some craziness, right? That's why I always try to come up with a title to get you interested in it. But that's the message for you tonight. No matter what mistakes you made, no matter what things that you've done wrong, God says, I am the one who makes all things work together for your good. And if you remain faithful, the last shall be first and the first shall be last. Share this message with someone that needs encouragement and needs to remember that they can go from the bottom to the top. Started at the bottom, now I'm at the top. I'm here, right? God bless you. Have a great rest of your week. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Have a great evening. God bless you. We have to have the strength of character, the fortitude to walk around. That's it, Morgan. God bless you. Thanks for joining on, guys. Share with a friend that you know needs to be encouraged. Have a good night. God bless you, Robert.